Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian Jenna Wilson, has made headlines once again. And this time, it's for a declaration that has stunned the public and set social media ablaze. She says she is financially independent. Yes, at just 21 years old, the daughter of the world's richest man claims she is not relying on her father's immense wealth or influence. Instead, she insists she is carving her own path, making her own money, and living her life entirely on her own terms. This announcement comes against the backdrop of one of the most publicized and complicated estrangements in celebrity family history. And the story is far deeper, more dramatic, and more emotionally charged than a single statement. To understand why Vivian's declaration has become such a headline, we need to rewind and take a closer look at her life, her relationship with Elon Musk, and the ways in which this estrangement has shaped both of their public images. Born in April of 2004, Vivian is the eldest surviving child of Elon Musk and his first wife, Canadian author Justine Wilson. The Musk-Wilson marriage was one filled with triumphs, struggles, and tragedy. The couple lost their first child to sudden infant death syndrome and later turned to IVF to have twins and triplets, with Vivian being one of the twins. From the very beginning, her life was marked by the weight of being connected to one of the most ambitious and controversial men of the modern era. Fast forward to 2020, Vivian came out as a transgendered woman, a personal decision that carried not only emotional significance, but also intense public scrutiny because of who her father is. Elon Musk, famously outspoken and often combative on social media, had already been criticized for comments many considered dismissive or mocking of gender identity. For Vivian, coming out wasn't just about living her truth, it also meant navigating the media storm that followed. Then, in 2022, she took a bold legal step. She filed to change her name and gender legally, asking the court to drop any association with her father. Her request was blunt and powerful. She said she no longer wishes to be related to her father in any way, shape, or form. That was the moment when the estrangement between Elon Musk and his daughter went from a private family struggle to an international headline. The richest man in the world, a figure synonymous with Tesla, SpaceX, and global influence, now had a daughter who wanted to be known not as a Musk, but as Vivian Jenna Wilson, taking her mother's last name and cutting ties with his legacy. The public was fascinated. What kind of family conflict drives someone to distance themselves so dramatically from the wealthiest and most famous man alive? The years since then have been filled with subtle digs, public remarks, and indirect battles in the press. Elon Musk has misgendered his daughter in interviews, continuing to use her dead name. At times, he has dismissed her transition, suggesting it was a product of what he calls a woke mind virus. These comments did not sit well with Vivian, who has consistently fired back in her own way. She has openly criticized her father, calling him hypocritical and even pathetic, a man who talks about traditional family values but cannot respect the identity of his own child. Her stance has only hardened over time, and instead of shrinking away from the spotlight, she's stepped into it on her own terms. This brings us to her most recent declaration, that she is financially independent. Speaking publicly at a youth-focused event, Vivian revealed that she's making her own money, paying her own way, and not relying on her father's billions. She emphasized that she doesn't have access to his fortune, nor does she expect to inherit it. Instead, she's living with roommates in Los Angeles, saving money where she can, and enjoying the same struggles and triumphs of adulthood that so many of her peers face. In her words, she has friends, shelter, and some expendable income, not luxury jets or trust funds, but stability she's earned herself. This statement hit a nerve. For some, it was inspiring. Here was a young woman who could have chosen the easy road, taken advantage of the Musk name, lived off the shadows of immense wealth, and yet she refused. Instead, she's rejecting nepotism and charting her own course. But for others, skepticism set in. How does the daughter of Elon Musk truly define independence? Is it really possible to escape the influence and privilege that comes with being his child, no matter how far she tries to distance herself? The online debates grew fierce. Supporters hailed her as brave, while critics accused her of overstating her independence, pointing out that simply being a Musk by birth opens doors others could never access. But Vivian isn't just talking about her financial independence, she's also building a career in the spotlight. This year, she walked her first runway shows at New York Fashion Week, made her debut as a model, and even appeared on magazine covers. She's embracing modeling, performance, and fashion as her entry into the world, not engineering or tech. This career path further distinguishes her from her father's empire. While Elon Musk dominates rockets, electric cars, and artificial intelligence, Vivian is staking her claim in art, culture, and identity. She's even hinted at exploring drag performance and reality TV, suggesting her future may be as much about visibility and creativity as it is about independence. The public fascination with Vivian doesn't just come from who she is. It comes from the sharp contrast with her father. Elon Musk is constantly in the headlines, often for controversial reasons, whether it's his posts on social media, his political statements, or his clashes with regulators. He is a man who thrives on being larger than life, a figure of extreme wealth and influence. Vivian, on the other hand, is choosing to present herself as relatable, down-to-earth, and in many ways, ordinary, a young adult navigating roommates, budgets, and new career opportunities. The contrast couldn't be more striking, and that's part of why her statements have captured so much attention. Adding to the drama are the emotional layers of their estrangement. Vivian has accused Musk of being dismissive and unkind, while Musk has suggested that her identity and decisions were the result of external influences. For him, his rejection has become a public talking point in his ongoing culture war commentary. For her, it has been deeply personal, about reclaiming her own sense of self and not being defined by a father she views as toxic. This tug of war plays out in interviews, in social media reactions, and in the court of public opinion, where everyone seems to have an opinion about this fractured family dynamic. What makes Vivian's latest statement so powerful is that it feels like a declaration of victory, however small. To say you are financially independent at 21 when your father is one of the most famous billionaires alive is not just about money. It's about identity. It's about pride. It's about telling the world, I don't need him. And in that sense, it is a symbolic break as much as a practical one. The message resonates with people who see her as someone refusing to be overshadowed by a famous parent, especially one she no longer respects. Of course, the story is far from over. Vivian's life is just beginning, and the spotlight she now carries could either propel her into a thriving career or weigh her down with constant comparisons. But one thing is clear, she is not afraid to speak her truth, even when it sparks controversy. And for Elon Musk, whose brand relies on control, confidence, and dominance, having a daughter who openly rejects him is an uncomfortable reminder that not even he can control every narrative. Vivian's independence, financial, emotional, and personal, is more than just a headline. It's the latest chapter in a story that combines family drama, celebrity culture, and the generational clash between one of the world's most polarizing figures and the daughter who refuses to live in his shadow. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.